The wind howled against the cracked windows of St. Raphael's Maternity Hospital, a facility that stood at the edge of Omu Town like a ghost from another era. Once reputed for its exceptional maternal care, the hospital had, in recent years, garnered a darker reputation. Women entered with swollen bellies, but some left with empty arms and shattered spirits. The townspeople whispered about the disappearances, but no one dared speak openly. The hospital's director, Dr. Odewale, was a man of wealth and influence, and his eyes seemed to be everywhere. Those who asked too many questions either vanished or were found drowned in the river that slithered behind the town like a lurking beast. Yet, not everyone was willing to be silent. Nurse Ada had been at St. Raphael's for nearly a decade, and in that time, she had seen things that turned her stomach. Babies, perfect and healthy, were declared stillborn without proper examinations. Mothers who screamed for their children were sedated and dismissed, their arms empty, their hearts broken. And then there were the night deliveries, women who were rushed into the hospital with no identification, their pregnancies full-term. They labored in eerie silence, their faces masked in fear. Their infants never saw the light of day. Ada had kept her mouth shut for too long. But when her best friend, Ifeoma, delivered a baby boy and was told he had died, she knew the lies had to end. She had seen that child cry, felt the warmth of his tiny fingers around hers. That baby had lived. Ifeoma was inconsolable, and no one would give her the body. The hospital insisted it had been disposed of. But Ada knew better. One night, Ada stayed past her shift, waiting until the halls were silent. She had seen Dr. Odewale and the head nurse, Matron Agatha, disappear into the east wing, the part of the hospital no one entered unless called. She tiptoed down the dimly lit corridor, her heart thumping like a ritual drum. The door was locked, but she had seen where Matron Agatha kept the keys. With trembling hands, she turned the lock and stepped inside. The stench hit her first, formaldehyde mixed with something more sinister. Then she saw them. Rows of tiny incubators, but not for the purpose of care. Inside them were babies, alive, but eerily silent. Some looked healthy, while others were sickly. Beside each incubator was a file, and as she flipped through them, her breath caught in her throat. Names of the mothers. Falsified death certificates. Payment receipts. And then, in the corner, a metal table, dark stains congealed on its surface. Ritualistic carvings on the floor beneath it. Ada swallowed a scream. Before she could turn back, the sound of footsteps echoed through the corridor. The door creaked open, and she darted behind a cabinet. Dr. Odewale entered, followed by a tall man in a red robe. The stranger's presence made the air thick with dread. "The shipment is ready," Dr. Odewale said, his voice smooth, professional. 5 boys, 3 girls. All pure. The robed man smiled, revealing teeth too white to be natural. "The elders will be pleased. Their blessings will rain upon you, Doctor." Ada felt bile rise in her throat. She had to get out. She had to stop this. Her breath shallow, Ada moved as quietly as possible, but the moment she stepped away from the cabinet, her foot nudged a metal tray. It clattered to the floor with a noise that seemed to shake the earth. The robed man turned, his dark eyes locking onto her. "We have a visitor," he murmured. Dr. Odewale's face darkened. Ada, I thought you were loyal. She bolted, her feet slapping against the cold tiles. Behind her, they followed, their voices sharp commands to stop. She dashed into the main corridor, heart pounding. The security guards were already in motion. Ada knew she had one chance. The records. She needed proof. She veered into the office, grabbing as many files as she could before running towards the entrance. Just as she reached the door, hands seized her from behind. Darkness swallowed her. Ada awoke, but not in the same place. She was in a dimly lit room, but this one smelled of herbs and burning incense. Her wrists were no longer bound. A woman sat beside her, her face partially hidden by shadows. "You're safe now," the woman said. "They think you're dead." Ada tried to sit up, but her body was weak. Who are you?" The woman smiled grimly. "My name is Mama Kemi. And you're not the first to try and stop them." Ada's mind raced. "How did you?" "We have people inside the hospital. People who want justice. But we needed proof. And now, thanks to you, we have it." She handed Ada a folder. Inside were the same records Ada had stolen before she was caught. Mama Kemi's eyes darkened. "We strike tonight. Are you ready?" Ada clenched her fist, her adrenaline surging. More than ever. The night air was thick with tension as Mama Kemi's underground fighters positioned themselves around St. Raphael's hospital. Ada, now fully recovered, led a team of armed rebels through a back entrance. With stealth, they infiltrated the building, swiftly taking down security guards before they could raise the alarm. Inside, Dr. Odewale and Matron Agatha were in the midst of another exchange when Ada burst through the doors, gun in hand. "This ends tonight," she shouted. Chaos erupted. Gunfire rang through the hospital. The robed man lunged at Ada, a dagger glinting in his hand, but she dodged and fired, the bullet tearing through his chest. Dr. Odewale tried to escape, but Mama Kemi's people caught him at the exit. "No more lies. No more stolen children," Ada declared, her voice trembling with rage. By dawn, the hospital was surrounded by police, alerted by an anonymous tip. The evidence Ada had gathered was enough to dismantle the entire operation. Dr. Odewale, Matron Agatha, and their conspirators were arrested. The surviving babies were taken into safe custody, their fates no longer tied to the darkness that had haunted the town. As the sun rose, Ada stood at the gate of the hospital, watching as justice was finally served. Ifeoma, who had refused to give up on her stolen son, embraced Ada tightly. "You did it," she whispered. Ada exhaled, the weight of her actions finally settling. "We did it." St. Raphael's Maternity Hospital would be shut down forever. But Ada knew the fight wasn't over. There were still shadows in the world, still monsters hiding behind power. And she would never stop hunting them. Kindly like, comment, share and subscribe. The end.